San Antonio's Alamo, a night to punctuate legacy. Stanford's explosive Bryce Love, hoping to be healthy tonight, facing off against Kenny Hill and TCU. They hope to remember the finale fondly. Big 12 and Pac-12 runners-up, and even the meek are a little fiery for the Cardinal and Frogs tonight. And welcome inside the Alamo Dome for the Valero Alamo Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. This is the 25th anniversary of this game, and what a terrific matchup we have for you. Stanford going for its 10th win, taking on TCU. Out of the Big 12, David Shaw and the Cardinal hoping to get a 10-win season for the 6th time. They've done it in 5 of the previous 6 years. The Cardinal coming off a narrow loss in the Pac-12 championship game against Southern California, and hoping to end the season on a winning note here in San Antonio tonight. Glad to have you with us from San Antonio. Reese Davis, David Pollack, and Joey Galloway here. And when you talk about Stanford, you talk about Bryce Love. The guy's been explosive all season long, but for much of the latter stages of the season, Joey, he did so on a bad ankle. We'll see how healthy he is tonight.
Yeah, number one, Bryce Love, thanks for playing. In an era where guys don't play in bowl games, if you're not in the playoff, the stars sit out. Bryce Love is going tonight. He's not 100%. I watched him in warm-ups, didn't look great, but we've seen Bryce Love limp his way against Washington for 30 carries, 166 yards, and 3 touchdowns. His 85% is as good as a lot of running backs in the country, 100%. He's the heart and soul of this team, one of the toughest kids in the country. They have to get him the ball early in this game and let him get established and warmed up.
You see the records that are well within reach for Bryce tonight. Should he get 27 yards in his first 3 carries, he would be the fastest to reach 2,000 yards in a single season, but that will be a tall order, certainly against TCU. And as Gary Patterson leads his team onto the field here in the Alamo Dome, familiar surroundings. It was 2 years ago in this game that TCU matched the biggest comeback in bowl history, falling behind Oregon 31-0, coming back to beat the Ducks in triple overtime. They're coming in here riding a stout run defense, David.
There's no secret, and Gary Patterson's done it for a long time. They've got beefier up front with this TCU defensive line, and it's made a big difference. They play exceptionally hard. They're very smart. They're all over the field. You're going to see this defense. They've given up less than 3 yards a carry this season against Bryce Love, who's getting 8 yards a carry. So Bosin, Banagoo, those guys up front, can they make plays and make life tough on Bryce Love?
Quint Kesnick with us tonight down on the sideline. Quint?
Yeah, Reese, these two programs are defined by the strong character and personality of their head coach. David Shaw has been the head coach and play caller at Stanford for 7 years now. Off the field, he's an avid reader. On it, he's a man of few words. You will see very little emotion from Coach Shaw. He's an analytical mind who loves the chess match. For TCU, it's Gary Patterson, 17th year, known as a defensive mastermind. He combines intensity with a sense of humor. He's a perfectionist who likes to play the guitar, and who knows, maybe he'll make a halftime wardrobe change as he did 2 years ago.
You know what, Quint, that has been the big talk of this week, is what would Gary come out in? And we see he's coming out in purple. It was purple that he switched to at halftime of the Alamo Bowl game against Oregon after they'd been shut out. No points in the black shirt, but now in the purple they had 41 second half and overtime points and won the game.
So this is what it's come to. Forget uniforms for the players. Now we're talking about coaching wardrobes.
Well, Gary's a superstitious guy, you know that. David Shaw, meanwhile, as I mentioned, going for his 6th 10-win season. You know, in the 104 years of Stanford football prior to his arrival, they only had 4 10-win seasons. He can get 6 in 7 years. Horned Frogs won the toss. They will defer to the second half. So we'll get underway in San Antonio with Cole Bunce putting toe to leather, and a dangerous return man is Cameron Scarlett, but they'll keep the ball away from him, and the Cardinal will have the first possession on its own 25-yard line. And here is the quarterback, KJ Costello, making his 7th start for Stanford.
And he's really infused this team. He's given them energy. He's given them an identity since he's taken over. He makes a lot of really smart decisions. He's got to be more consistent, but Joey, he'll give you bombs away now. He'll throw the deep ball.
He has to play well. In the 2 losses that they've had in the last 5 games, he's only completed 45% of his balls. And we talked about Bryce Love and how important he is to this offense. Costello has to make plays down the field to take some of the pressure off the run game.
Costello is a guy that they put a lot on. They'll give him 3 plays in the huddle, up to him at the line of scrimmage to get him into the right one. Oftentimes the right play for Stanford is making sure that number 20 touches the ball. That's Bryce Love. Costello going to throw on first down. A quick completion. A short gain there, and the pickup is by J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Stanford has an advantage in the size of their outside receivers, and as they always do, a number of potent and dangerous tight ends that they'll use and try to get matchups.
And I love easy throws early for quarterbacks, especially in bowl games. You've had a lot of time off. Let your quarterback get warmed up in game, get his rhythm going early with a quick four-yard pass.
Costello making his checks. You're going to see a lot of these bunch formations and also the toss to Love, and there is not much there, though. Bryce spins ahead and gets maybe a yard and a half, close to 2, before he's knocked down by Ennis Gaines in on the tackle. Ennis starting tonight for Ridwan Esahaku, who is out with injury. Gaines is a sophomore from Beaumont they're very high on. And the first third down of the night coming for the Cardinal. Pretty average on third down situations this year, about 42%. That's barely in the top 50 in the country, about halfway through the Pac-12. Need a little less than 5.
And this is hard because this isn't necessarily a passing down always for Stanford. They will run the football.
And they do, and Love looking for room, and he's not going to get it. He's going to lose a couple, and it'll be 3 and out for Stanford on their first possession. Matt Bozen, known for a pass rushing ability, makes the stop on the run.
Most of the time you see third and medium situations, you do 3 down linemen, 4 down linemen in the game, making sure you realize third down situations. They still want to give the ball to Bryce Love. Let him punctuate one of those 5, 15, 20-yard runs. It's not always a passing down. TCU had a month to figure that out. They were dialed in for it.
Now this dude punting for Stanford, let me tell you, he is a weapon. Jake Bailey, who is an aspiring pilot just a few hours away from his license, Ken.
That's a boom.
Unleashes one that drives Turpin all the way back to his 20-yard line. And now KaVontae's got room and looking for an alley, and Stanford is able to close quickly. A return of about 10 yards after the 56-yard punt off the foot of Bailey. Kenny Hill making his final appearance for TCU. He's had a long and winding road, a terrific high school career, started his college career, Texas A&M, followed Johnny Manziel, trouble followed, went to junior college and then transferred to TCU, has started 24 games for the Horned Frogs this year. And Hill has been effusive in his thanks and his praise of Gary Patterson for giving him a second chance after things went sideways at Texas A&M, and Kenny wanted to rewrite his legacy this season and make sure that people knew he was a solid quarterback, and he's had a very, very good senior season. Kyle Hicks getting the first carry. Hicks is going to be the primary ball carrier tonight with Darius Anderson out with an injury.
And you see the first run by TCU is between the tackles. And if you're Stanford, you're happy that they're keeping it between the tackles. Out in spaces where you have issues.
Hill is a dual threat. He nudges his way up to the 35. It'll bring up 3rd down and 6 as we take a look at tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by Franklin American Mortgage Company.
And both of them wanting to play different styles. When you're Stanford, you want to impose your style, your physicality. And now you got TCU right here. What do they want to do? They
get out in space.
They
want to spread these guys out. First 2 runs on 1st and 2nd down between the tackles. We'll see if they go outside the tackles to see if they can get these linebackers isolated against athletic guys out in space.
Kenny Hill going to try to go somewhere. Got some running room if he wants it. Instead throws it back into the middle, and it's intercepted by Frank Bunkum. Bunkum inside the 40. Still on his feet. He's going to be hit and dragged down inside the 25. So for the second time tonight, Stanford has great field position, this time off a Kenny Hill miscue.
And you can't believe what you see all the time. Watch this. Watch Stanford late. Watch them rotate up, and you can see they're going to bring the nickel off the corner, off the edge. Now they play safety back deep, reading the cornerback's eye, or reading the QB's eyes. And obviously, Joey, we talked about this watching tape of Kenny Hill. Sometimes these kind of throws off his back foot, what does he do?
He throws bad balls when he throws off his back foot, but in this situation, run the football. That is a terrible read. Take off. He had no one in front of him. And when you talk to Stanford, their fear is Kenny Hill's ability to extend plays with his feet and gain yards running the football. And that is one that Kenny Hill would love to have back. That is essentially their second turnover of the game. Yep. If you talk about the botched fake punt, Stanford has to capitalize.
Tight ends all over the place, and Bryce Love with his 4th carry, and he's going to have about 3 yards. TCU's leading tackler, Traven Howard, there to knock him down.
And that's what we're used to seeing from Stanford. They just said, okay, we're gonna get in here, we're gonna see the pound game, see how this goes. Now they change up personnels and they make you think. And now look at all the speed they just brought in. You just mentioned all the O linemen and tight ends. Now they bring in some wide receivers and make you think really quickly on the fly.
Empty backfield with Love at the top of your screen. Has not been a receiving threat this year, only 6 catches. Costello not looking his way. He does complete it to Irwin, and Trenton Irwin spun down at about the 16. He needs to get between the 14 and 13 for the first down. He'll bring up 3rd down and short. Stanford brings the tight ends back in. Love behind a fullback. Fullback is like a unicorn or a dinosaur in college football these days.
What is that?
Love has it. Love finally has a crease for the first time. Love stays on his feet. Bryce Love pushing, driving, touchdown. Lost his headgear, never lost his feet.
One of the most impressive parts about Bryce Love is his toughness. He's 195 pounds, as they say, maybe adding a couple pounds, but the ability to run the ball between tackles, carry guys into the end zone, runs behind his shoulder pads, and that's just strength at the end to get it in the end zone.
And some help from his friends.
Which is perfectly legal.
You're dang right, it is now.
15-yard touchdown run for Love, his 18th rushing touchdown of the season, and Stanford takes advantage of the Kenny Hill miscue. Toner for the point after. He is true. And the Horned Frogs wanted to get off to a quicker start than they did 2 years ago in this bowl game. So far, that has not been the case. Bryce Love bounced that umpire out of the way, lose the headgear, score a touchdown. Jake Bailey to kick off. This is a virtual guaranteed touchback. 64 of his 76 kickoffs this year have been touchbacks.
It's got to be a jinx.
Might be returnable by Turpin. KaVontae Turpin looking for running room. And this stays intact. No Stanford kickoff has been returned past the 30-yard line all year. Hill taking a deep shot, had a man out there, threw it short, and it worked out for him. Jalen Rager, the freshman, makes the big play. He underthrew him, but Rager was able to come back to it and catch it. And it's the first big positive play of the night for the Frogs. They're going to try to go quickly after the 42-yard pickup.
Got to make plays like that. It doesn't have to be great throws. You got man coverage on the outside, throw it up, let your playmaker make a play for you, get people out of the box.
Hill, quick slant. Diars has it. John Diars inside the 20, and the Frogs have answered and moved back into the red zone.
And you can see the deep ball throw. Hill was leaning back when he threw it, and that's why it was short. When he's finishing on his left side like he did on his slant, he throws the ball as well as anyone in the country.
Hill on the boot. Steps out of a tackle. Now throws another interception, and it was almost... Oh, he dropped it in the end. How lucky was Kenny Hill? And for the second time tonight, there's running room to the outside, and he throws back across his body into the middle of the field.
There wasn't a player anywhere that thought he was going to throw this football. Everyone thought he was going to take off for a run, and I truly believe it caught the safety off guard. I mean, this looks like a clear run. He breaks a tackle. No one's left to contain. Simply run the football.
This may be a case of Kenny pressing a little bit in his final game. TCU trying to make big plays. He's very fortunate Okereke let that one squirt through, and boy, that was stuffed out by Peter Kalambayi. Kalambayi not having it on the screen.
What an awesome job. All that stuff to look at. You got a guy coming in the backfield for you to look at, stays home. Look at this, reads the screen, watch him slip the blocker, come right in there and make a big time play. Great eyes, great job flying in there. More importantly, just great discipline. You don't trick Stanford's defense most of the time. They're going to be in position. Great job.
3rd down and 13. Hill time. overthrows. He's looking for Shewo Alanalua
on a 9-yard route. That drives you nuts. I mean, that absolutely drives you nuts. And listen, Kenny Hill has a ton of ability. He's a dual threat guy that can make some big time plays. On 3rd and 12, you can't throw a 9-yard out. He's got to be smarter than that. He's got to give at least these guys a chance to make a play on the outside.
So Cole Bunce, a sophomore from San Jose, not too far away from the Stanford campus. A TCU kicker will try to give the Frogs their first points of the night. This is going to be a 38-yard attempt. Bunce puts it on the way. And right down the middle. So TCU salvages 3 points. They were very, very close to squandering another opportunity when Okereke just couldn't hang on. Great destination for visitors and locals alike. The Valero Alamo Bowl, 25th year of this great game in San Antonio. And Stanford has had the better of it. And the first 9 minutes, or almost 9, the Frogs have had to fear mistakes. Kenny Hill's thrown an interception and a near interception in the end zone. A botched fake punter, but it wasn't really botched. It was just stopped deep in their own territory. The Frogs still only down 7-3. Here's Cameron Scarlett, among the top 20 kickoff return men in the country. And Scarlett gives Stanford good field position up to about the 30-yard line. Chris, how about this? A couple of coaches known for being able to defend the option. Bronco Mendenhall and Rocky Long at San Diego State both kind of got eaten up by the Army and against San Diego State in the Navy today. Virginia's flat didn't show up. Good run defense again. Hit for a loss is Love. Joseph Broadnax, a junior from Dallas, making the stop for Patterson's defense. David, you alluded to it, some size inside. Broadnax, a veteran backup, but Ross Blacklock, number 90. Corey Bethley, 94. Bethley's in there right now. Blacklock is not. They've got some bodies to rotate up front.
And just bigger ones than they've had in the past.
A lot of backups on that defensive front right now for the Frogs. Costello on 2nd and long finds his man Connor Weddington. Weddington over the middle. It'll be a first down.
And they like to use him as a go deep guy. He's a big playmaker. He's the next in line, I think, for big playmakers. Connor Weddington, he's a true freshman. Look at him. Little angle route inside, isolated on the linebacker. A pass to the running backs.
Yeah,
how come you don't see that to Bryce Love, by the way?
And it's a great setup. You catch TCU in man-to-man, and you have your playmaker against a linebacker, and Weddington makes a nice move to the outside and breaks across. Costello takes the hit, stands in, and completes the ball.
18-yard pickup. As Costello's hit 3 of his first 5. There's Love. He's got a crease. Love has a first down. And Love's inside the 35-yard line as he inches closer to the Stanford single-season rushing record. Christian McCaffrey ran for 2,019 yards. Bryce picked up 21 on that one.
And Bryce Love looks better running than he does walking. When he gets up off the ground and walking back to the huddle, you can see that limp, you can see that ankle, but you can't tell when he puts that foot in the ground and takes off upfield with his shoulder square, hits the hole as quick as anyone.
And by the way, Love over 2,000 yards now for the season with 37 yards. Banagoo stopping it for a short game there as we check in with Quint.
And David Shaw's biggest concern was contact. Bryce Love really hasn't been touched in a month, and he was just worried about ball security, being tackled for the first time in a month, and how he'd react to contact. He's still a little gimpy, but not when he has that ball in his hands.
He's been gimpy for weeks. It's just fine. I mean, it's the most amazing thing ever watching him down the stretch of the season. Limp off, retape, come back out.
Watch him jog. He looks worse jogging on and off the field than he does when he has the ball in his hands.
That power toss to him.
How about this old school formation here? Everybody in tight, nothing for Love. He is stopped for no gain. It'll bring up 3rd down, about 6.5. Traven Howard was the first guy there.
But I'll say this, he's had, what, several weeks off to prepare now. He used to limp off the field every time he left the field. Late in the season, he was limping every time. Now you see him It's not as bad of a limp. It's still a little bit.
I was going to say, yeah, that's a limp.
But he was hobbling for a while.
Yeah,
so.
And he hobbled to 3 touchdowns against Washington. We've seen him hobbled before. He continues to go, and he's 195 and runs the ball between tackles as tough as anyone out there.
David Shaw told us yesterday, he said, I've got a conscience. I feel guilty. I'd tell Bryce, you're done. And he said, no, coach, I'm good. And he said he'd go for a 50-yard run. He said, I guess he's done. Costello feeling some heat, finds Weddington again, who slips a tackle, and Stanford's inside the 20. And how about the move from the freshman Weddington? It was TCU in space that we were wondering about, but instead it's Weddington who's made a couple of plays, making guys miss in the open field.
And it was a bad throw. Costello threw it behind him. Look, he breaks out. He's got him right here. He throw to the sideline and go make a play, but great job adjusting to the football, making a guy miss.
Now Stanford inside the 20. Trevor Spates at running back. Spates from the state of Texas, from McAllen. He had a whole gaggle of family members here. Enjoyed visiting with them yesterday. Costello steps up in the pocket, throws to the back of the end zone. Arcega-Whiteside is out there, and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside has a touchdown.
Watch his first read. First read to the flats, not there, reshuffles his feet, and then drops a dime in the corner of the end zone. Great job by Costello going through his progression quickly.
And great job by the offensive line. If you let your quarterback pump fake, bring it down, and still step forward to throw that ball, your offensive line is doing a nice job of giving him protection and space to read the coverage.
Costello took advantage of the opportunity when Keller Christ was injured this year, and Costello, highly recruited guy, USC and Michigan both after him, and he was 3 for 3, 48 yards, and a tight spiral, spinning the magic beam. We're talking to Tavita Pritchard, who is going to take over as offensive coordinator for Stanford, and quarterbacks coach, former Stanford quarterback. Mike Bloomgren, who is coaching in this game, be moving on to Rice. He was talking about how they were living the lives. TCU with the trick play. They had a man lying down in the end zone, and KaVontae Turpin lateraled it back to Jalen Reagor, and
Reagor lateraled it to himself.
Well, he did.
And didn't catch it.
There is a flag. Reagor was hiding in the end zone, lying down on his stomach on what will be the final play of the first quarter. And Stanford will open the second quarter with a 14-3 lead. Welcome back to the Valero Alamo Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Second quarter about to start here in San Antonio. Stanford with a 14-3 lead. Reagor was the Big 12 co-offensive freshman of the year. He was tied for the FBS lead and touchdowns by a freshman. Had 7 touchdown catches. Shewu Lanalua and running back for Frogs. Hill on the boot, throwing it. Reagor had it for a second. It was knocked free. It's an incomplete pass. Justin Reed delivering the big hit on the freshman.
And that was a heck of a throw by Kenny Hill. That was. Reagor took a shot.
I would say Reagor's hoping he didn't throw that one.
Yeah, well, Kenny Hill took
that was a heck of a
too,
throw.
But that was a great. I mean, give credit. That's first of all, that's Reed. I mean, Reed detaches the ball, but look at that. He squares his shoulder, throws a great pass. And Justin Reed separates ball from man. Very nice. Justin Reed's a heck of a player.
And did it the right way. Didn't use his helmet. We always see big hits bring flags. That was done the right way.
Yeah, and on the season, Stanford was one of the worst third down defenses in the country, but TCU's only converted on 1 out of 4 so far tonight. Hill throwing it out to Diaz. He was covered tightly by Quentin Meeks. Diaz couldn't haul it in, and Frogs will have to punt it away.
And we keep talking about the athleticism of TCU out wide winning against Stanford. They're not winning. Right there you can see cover 1. Everybody man-to-man on the outside. You got a safety back deep. Couldn't get separation, and Hill hasn't been able to do it all year long. Making plays down the field is his weakness. I would continue to do that, press upon him, and make him throw the ball deep.
And you get a team in 3rd and 12, and all of a sudden you can play coverage.
Yeah.
And you no longer have the advantage of getting guys in space man-to-man.
Andrew David punting it away. Trenton Irwin, who changes jersey numbers briefly when he's on special teams. Typically number 2 is a receiver, makes the fair catch, and they'll spot it at the 47-yard line. Back there, Spates has returned at running back. Costello fakes it to him. Now he's got a man in the middle, and Schultz got knocked almost rear end over tea kettles. We check in with Quint.
Gary Patterson talked about repping against those 3 tight ends and 2 fullbacks. They hardly even have that personnel on their roster, and to simulate that size is almost impossible. Meanwhile, Mike Bloomgren told me on Christmas Day they were in full pads practicing those short yardage situations, hitting while TCU was in shorts and helmets. So it's a mentality difference as well.
What a great Christmas gift. Thanks, Coach. Let's beat the crap out of each other on Christmas Day.
Scarlett in and running back on 2nd and 2. Both these teams pride themselves on being physical. Costello hit as he throws. And getting pressure in there was again the freshman Corey Bethley.
That's another blitz by TCU, and you can see they don't want to give Costello a chance to sit in the pocket and get comfortable. He's made comfortable throws in this game. The pressure this time, make him get it out. Let's go man-to-man on the backside, make him get it out quick, and hopefully make him make a mistake and maybe throw another interception.
And it's another 3rd and short. They went for it on 4th and short last time. So you probably have 2 plays right here. You're going to expect Love getting the ball right up the gut.
Well, they've got the extra lineman in there. Wilson's back in. They've got him lined up.
He's confused, though.
The tight end. Let's go hit somebody, Nick. Here he comes. He's pulling around. That's what it is. They gave a little crease to Bryce Love, and he's got the first down. Nick was making sure whether he had to be on or off the line of scrimmage, I think, right here.
It's a good-looking fullback right there. Watch him pull around. He's on the left side of your screen, big 54. Follow the 300-pounder, and look at the cut. What a great job. He sees the colors of the uniform so well. Purple all coming to the right, cuts back. He could have housed that one. It looked like you've seen him house some of those in the past, but follow the big fella.
Stanford uses his personnel in a variety of ways. A lot of guys have already contributed in the first quarter plus this 25th Valero Alamo Bowl. Spates has it. Spates into the secondary. Now he's back into the red zone. That was an awkward-looking handoff from Costello, and Costello is a little bit of a banged-up hand earlier in the season. And
Watch him reach
got his
out.
hand hit earlier.
He got confused.
Yeah, I think he did.
He thought the play was going to the right, and then did a great job. Watch him adjust, and then backhanded, put it right in the gut. Obviously, that would usually be the other hand, but
yeah,
when your offensive line is blocking like Stanford's right now, you got time to make a mistake in the backfield and still pick up a big run.
Back into the red zone. This is red zone defense. Been 2nd in the country in touchdown percentage for TCU, and this is the 3rd play in the red zone and the first time that Stanford didn't score a touchdown against it. Been very efficient so far.
And they've been great in the red zone all year, by the way. TCU's been one of the best red zone defenses in all of football. You see it, 2nd in FBS. Tonight, Stanford's been saying, we don't agree with that. Look at Gary. Untying his shoe, tying it back, pulling up his pants. He's probably...
Stanford scores here. There may be a shirt change coming up. Scarlett returns in the backfield for the Cardinal. Shovel to Schultz inside, and tight end getting it. And Matt Boson, Chris Bradley there to stop that one.
And give Boson a lot of credit. He stayed home, stayed square, wasn't worried about Costello, had his eyes in the right place, and simply took the pitch guy on the inside and made a nice tackle.
That's right.
You have to get off the field here. If you're TCU, you have to get off the field here. It's still a lot of time in this game, but you can see the confidence of the Stanford offense getting going. They've had great field position. They've been in the red zone all night long. You have to hold them to at least a field goal attempt here if you're TCU.
And I'd look up here at the top of the screen. Your matchup right here, you got some serious height up top.
Costello's looking the other way. He throws it up top. J.J. Arcega, right side, his 2nd touchdown of the night.
Jeff Gladney's on the other side. He's a tall corner, so they went after him. Well, I mean, he's tall. He's 6 foot. But watch the box out by Arcega Whiteside. Look at the box out. Look at him put his body on him, play basketball, get the rebound, reach over the goal line. Man, that's too easy, Joe.
And Coach Patterson told us he wants his corners to reach up through their hands when they catch the ball. When you're getting boxed out like that, you can't get to the hands. There's nothing you can do about it.
Big bodies, Stanford wide receivers on the outside. You got 6'3", you got 6'6", you got 6'7".
Size more than offsetting the advantage the Horned Frogs hoped they would have in space. Little trouble with the hold, no trouble for Jet Toner as he knocks it through. And the Cardinal up 21-3, and if not for the Frogs' history in this particular building, one might think they're in a world of trouble. To be fair, they probably are. See some indelible images from memorable Alamo Bowls. There was a Nebraska-Michigan game in 05, RG3, 67-56, and then, of course, the epic comeback by Patterson's Horned Frogs, down 31-0 to Oregon at the half. Won it 47-41 in triple overtime. Second largest comeback in any game, and matched the largest comeback in bowl history. You know, before that comeback by TCU, teams that have been trailing by 31 were 0 and 1,463.
That's a
Till
surprise.
the Frogs got him.
Can't believe nobody pulled it off before that.
So does he have a wardrobe change in him? Does he go back to the black, or
If the rest of this half doesn't go well, I would say so. Here's Turpin. Turpin looking for the edge. KaVontae Turpin's chased out of bounds at the 22-yard line. And right on cue, here goes Kenny, up close to the 30-yard line.
he's a big dude. I mean, he's not a small cat. I mean, you look at Kenny Hill, he's 6'1", 215 pounds. He runs the ball. I mean, he's really a better runner than he is a thrower. And they do the bubbles, and right there, you spread them out 5 wide, and it didn't look like much, did it? It's 2nd and 5. You know how easy that is as a play caller when you give them 5 on first down? Everything's available now.
We're about to see how easy it is. Let's see how easy it is for the play call. We haven't seen a lot of the tunnel screens, the swing passes that we expected to see out of this offense tonight.
Now, option with Kenny Hill gets across the 35 and close to the 40. Joey, to your point, is there anything schematically you've seen Stanford doing that would discourage TCU from those types of? They've made a lot of big plays against Oklahoma throwing the ball to back.
Yeah, and I spoke to coach and asked him how many tunnel screens, how many swing passes you come into games with. He told me 8 or 9. So you have a ton of different ways to get those plays in. Right now, because they're not having any success between the tackles, Stanford doesn't have to commit their linebackers to worrying about the guys being able to run it in between the tackles. And this is what I'm expecting right here. Let's see him out in space. And David, just like you said, that's 5 yards. And now you set up a much shorter 2nd down call for your play caller.
And it's obviously numbers. I mean, it's very simple. Stanford's out wide. They're making sure they got enough numbers to cover the outside quick game. And if you're going to do that, the quarterback run game is available because you pick up an extra blocker, and that's why it should be available. Look at the bottom of your screen. You got 3 Stanford defenders down low. You got 2 wide receivers. It's not a smart move to throw the ball down low.
Stanford wanted to take away all of the smokes and the screens. Kalambayi showing pressure.
Yeah, and that just changed.
Quarterback's
David.
left side.
He just went inside.
Alanalua has a first down. Shewo working his way through the Stanford secondary and finally brought down by Ben Edwards.
And this team changed a lot with Darius Anderson getting hurt. Shewo has to do a great job. This is a good-looking human being, by the way. How big is he, Reese? 6'2", 6'3", 215?
225.
I mean, you look at that. That's a big human. He's got to be physical. They got to give him some touches. Let him pound away.
For sure, the best movement by the offensive line of TCU that we've seen all night long.
It was the longest run for him, Joey, 17 yards, and there's the shovel pass to Alanalua, who they want to run with a little more attitude and authority. He hasn't always performed like that big body would suggest he should.
That is the 2nd straight play. We've seen this offensive line from TCU get moving. They don't double team much, their offensive line. They're using man-to-man blocks, so you'd expect them not to be able to move these big defensive linemen from Stanford like Harrison Phillips, but that's 2 straight plays they've been able to get a lot of movement, and that's their 2 best runs.
Jet sweep look. Turpin, as in Stanford, stays home. Perez making the stop along with Jovan Swan as we go down to Quint.
Reese, that play right there was Harrison Phillips' first of this drive. There's a considerable drop-off, and it's noticeable. Gary Patterson told us when 66 is not in the game for Stanford, there's a big drop-off on their D-line, and it showed early in that drive.
Harrison Phillips is a dangerous man with his hands, as Quint found out in no uncertain terms.
Yes, he did.
We will show you later tonight. Quint, who was giving up a pound or 2 to Harrison,
Just a few.
In the hotel ballroom.
Just a few.
Yesterday. Quinn had to go see the dentist after it was over. Third down. Hicks looking for room. Nice bounce to the outside. Hicks inside the 20 and finally knocked out of bounds, and TCU's in business. Alameen Murphy perhaps saved the touchdown.
And they had to do it, man. They had to get the running game going. 3rd and 5, you think it's more of a passing situation. Kenny Hill's been running the ball. Look at him read the outside, read the defensive end on the outside, hand the ball off, and Hicks making a big play.
And to the point of getting some movement on this drive, you had a 12-yard run, a 17-yard run, and now a 27-yard run from Hicks. And it's 1st and goal for the Horned Frogs as inside 3.5 minutes to play in the first half. TCU will try to build a little momentum. Kenny Hill firing up top. Diar's got a hand on it but couldn't catch it. Quentin Meeks right there with him.
They only needed one in the Oklahoma game versus Oklahoma, the Big 12 championship game.
I never understand that you have success running the football, especially on this drive.
You got man coverage on the outside. Why not?
Yeah, I hear you. And you've seen what man coverage just did. Now you get to the 6-yard line on 1st down. Keep running it.
Now Hill may run it this time. Kenny keeping it himself, and he gets into the end zone for the Horned Frog touchdown. A sign of life from the TCU offense. A 76-yard drive capped here.
He wanted to throw the bubble. You see it. He's right there looking at, obviously, Rager on the outside. Does a great job. Don't throw it. The numbers weren't there. Does a great job scrambling around. And again, that was Kenny Hill's feet on that drive. That's what made that drive go. It's not his arm. Continue to run him, especially now you can when it's only 21-10.
Saw a little option.
Gary's going to rally the troops now and go change shirts.
You think he changed shirts?
Why not? Let's do it.
Quint Kesnick with David Shaw. Quint.
Coach, on their last scoring drive, their quarterback Kenny Hill ran the ball. In the second half, how can you better account for him as a running threat?
We can't give him the edge, right? We got to keep him inside. If he runs up the middle, that's great. We got to get him on the ground, but we can't give him the edge. He's a very dangerous runner.
You're squared off with Coach Patterson head-to-head in terms of play calling. What's that like in terms of the challenge you're facing?
Well, the biggest thing for us is for us to do what we're capable of doing. They've made some plays on the defensive side. We got to run the ball a little bit better than we did in the first half.
Thank you, Coach. Reese.
All right, Quint, a 21-10 lead for Shaw's team. TCU gets the ball to start the second half. Right after the break, Adnan Virk, Jonathan Vilman, and Mac Brown will be in Pasadena for the halftime report. Welcome back to San Antonio and the Valero Alamo Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Just about set to kick off the second half. Stanford and TCU, the Cardinal, runner-up in the Pac-12 with a 21-10 lead over TCU. The Horned Frogs runner-up in the Big 12, but the Frogs built some momentum late in the first half, and they'll get the ball first to start here in the second half. Reese Davis, David Pollack, Joey Galloway, and Quint Kesnick on the call. Glad to have you with us from San Antonio tonight. Kickoff hits the pylon. It'll be another touchback. And TCU will start on the 25-yard line. Okay, we spent a lot of the first half talking about how Stanford had outplayed TCU, largely because of the Horned Frogs' mistakes. You look up, TCU's outgained them. They've got some momentum. What do you see here in the third quarter?
Obviously, huge score. I mean, this game was going to get ugly. It could have got out of hand quickly, but I think you saw it. Kenny Hill's feet. I mean, it made the decision-making easier for him. Stanford's going to take away the quick perimeter stuff on the outside, so it's going to be Kenny Hill's legs the rest of the way. I think it's going to have to lead him.
It's what you saw.
You want to get off to the same start you got off to begin this game. You made some plays, you created some turnovers, and you want to stop TCU from running the ball. That's where they found their success in the second quarter.
Well, Bryce Love set that Stanford single-season record in the first half. He was largely held in check, averaging better than 8 yards per carry. This season was held under 4 yards per carry in the first half as Hill's first pass in the second half is complete.
Stanford was already aware, too, him getting on the perimeter. So Hill firing, and as is
his man out there. Jarrison Stewart making the grab as we check in with Quentin.
We are faster than they are, the words of Gary Patterson. We've got to spread them out and continue to use our quickness. 2 turnovers, and he pointed to Kenny Hill, just run the ball. He said, if in doubt, Kenny's got to just run the ball. Defensively, very happy with their defense against Bryce Love. No gigantic chunk runs.
See Patterson's record against Pac-12 schools. He beat Stanford a couple of times in 07 and 08, including immediately after that epic upset that Stanford had against USC 2007. Shewol Alanalua, a good pickup. He's run the ball with some authority tonight.
So look what happens on the right side, Reese. Now you have to honor Kenny Hill as a runner because he's been running the football all over the place. Now it opens up other guys to have success. Keep it going.
Throwback to Snell. Slips 1 tackle and gets inside the 40. He's close to the first down where the official looks as if he's going to spot. I think he's going to be just a hair short. Dylan Jackson on the stop. Some help from Frank Bunkum.
And defensively, you know when he's in the game, you're getting ready for stuff like that. He's not going to go up the middle. He's a tiny little freshman back, you know, 170 pounds, but speed to burn on the perimeter. Great job by Stanford understanding that.
How about Snell and Jalen Rager we saw in the first half? High school teammates at Waxahachie High. They played for John Kitna,
Kit Kat,
former NFL quarterback. Shuffle pass, look, Alanalua has it. First down, he's inside the Stanford 30, and TCU with a really strong opening drive here in the third quarter.
Great job again. You get Kenny Hill on the perimeter. You've seen him have success. You've got to stop him as a runner. He has the option to keep that or pitch it underneath. Again, everything in this offense right now going through Kenny Hill and his feet. It's where they have a huge advantage against Stanford. You got Harrison Phillips coming off the field, big boy on the inside, trying to rotate bodies too. Now the inside's vulnerable.
Motion in the swing out to Desmond White. He can throw it, and he throws it back to Kenny Hill. Hill's got open space and an escort, and Hill waltz into the end zone. Touchdown, Horned Frogs. We saw Hill catch a touchdown pass against West Virginia. Now he goes 27 for his second score of the night. He's got 1 running and 1 receiving for the quarterback.
And you can see Sonny Cumbie is now getting in a rhythm. These play calls now, misdirection, run plays, pass plays, and that's when trick plays start to work. When you get a defense off bounce and they don't know where you're coming from, it sets up the trick plays. They have to worry about quarterback run. They have to worry about these running backs getting out wide, and so the defense has to react now. They didn't have to react early in the game because they weren't having success. Now you can see the rhythm of the TCU offense.
Trick plays don't work for Stanford, though.
The extra point
is running between tackles, but it's working today.
Don't work.
Extra point is no good. There was a little trouble with the hold. So it's a 5-point lead for the Cardinal. But a very productive drive to open the third quarter here, capped off by the throwback from Desmond White to the quarterback, Kenny Hill, and TCU's back in it in San Antonio. At the talent show, both teams got to show off their off-the-field prowess. Gary Patterson jumped in to play a little guitar. The couple of guys on the team who had planned to have their teammates accompany them, but a couple guys unable to make the trip. Gary, a noted singer and guitar player, so he jumped in, was able to play some country music. Harrison Phillips from Stanford said, "You were playing country. I hope you're playing the blues after the game." And Gary used that one to get himself fired up a little bit. He'll find something every now and then to get wound up about. You were questioning the spot.
Yeah, I was looking. Same look, same bunch set. Tightens up top now.
SEC officiating crew. There's the power toss again. There's Love. Love into the open field. Bryce Love, foot race. Does he have enough on that ankle? Being chased by the fastest man on the Horned Frog team, Gladney, and he did not catch him in time. Touchdown, Bryce Love. Another big run, 69 yards to the house.
Power toss again, throws it to him, pick a hole, breaks a tackle, cuts back to the left, and usually nobody even stays in the screen with him. Gladney, great hustle all the way down the field. Did he get in at the end? Looked like the ball might have been. It's in his right hand. Watch when he gets pulled back out of bounds. The ball side? Does he hit the pylon in that direction?
Touchdown.
His 13th rush of at least half 100. There are teams that don't have that many. TCU doesn't have that many plays as a team of over 50 yards. And Love has been a big play waiting to happen in his first really big one of the night and his second touchdown run. So we have opened the second half with some fireworks, a methodical, efficient drive from TCU, answered by a lightning strike from the big play running back Bryce Love, the Heisman runner-up, into the house for the second time. Cardinal up by a dozen. We just saw Bryce Love's 13th 50-yard run of the season. 11 of them have gone for touchdowns. Well, that was the longest run of the season TCU has allowed. And just like that, Love, who was averaging less than 4 yards a carry.
Back to his average.
Well under his average. Not quite, but he's up to 7.5 yards a carry after. And that's what he does. You saw the number of home runs he's been able to hit. Yet another touchback. Kenny Hill gets it back. Throws it out to Hicks in the flat. He's chased down after a pickup of maybe one. Justin Reed, the outstanding safety for the Cardinals, not on the field right now. Don't believe he's in uniform right now. Quint, what's the latest on Justin Reed?
I'm standing right behind him, and he doesn't have his football pants on, his cleats on, no helmet. It looks like he's done for the day. That's a significant hit. 97 tackles, 5 interceptions. Great length, great speed, great tackler.
Great versatility.
They have double numbers, but that is Justin Reed, and if he's done, that's a big, big deal.
It is indeed. He's brother Eric, standout player at LSU, and now for the 49ers, his dad was a track star at LSU. Kenny Hill firing into the middle, and he's got his man making the grab is Rager, and the freshman sent across the 40, and a good answer from TCU after giving up the quick strike to Bryce Love.
And that's Kenny Hill finishing on his left side. That is following through. He's as good as anyone in the country. Makes all the throws when he follows through and finishes on his left side and doesn't throw off his back foot. And you can see him drive. And that's when Coach Cumbie was talking about. When he comes through and finishes on his left side, he drives the ball much better.
Beautiful dunk.
Hill plenty of time, dumps it over the middle to Hicks. Kyle has a first down, gets into Stanford territory. Now here's something to watch. That wasn't a perfect example of it with Hicks coming out of the backfield. But without Justin Reed, they were really counting on Reed to be a guy who's capable of covering the quick slot receivers from TCU. Now,
like Hicks right now.
And Ben Edwards and company be able to do that. There's Hicks getting inside the 40. TCU has found a little bit of rhythm.
And again, if I'm Stanford, I just got to make sure I'm keeping Kenny in the pocket and making him, again, the field shrinks down here. It's a lot easier to cover when he gets in the red zone. I'm going to give him this little underneath stuff, and then he's going to have to be he's going to have to execute a lot better down here in the red area.
Snell going in motion. Hill looks that way, and instead they'll tunnel it to Diar's. John Diar's muscling his way down close to the 10-yard line. A Stanford headgear came out of that pile. As Diar's a strong run, the transfer from LSU. Got his undergrad degree at LSU, played a couple years here, now has his master's degree.
And now they manufacture with the offense. They pump the bubble outside and then run the tunnel underneath it. Just an easier way to get an easy completion. Now, this is the area where Kenny Hill struggled. This is the area where you make him be a quarterback and fit the ball in the tight windows, and he hasn't been very successful.
The headgear that came off David was Frank Bunkum, who has a couple interceptions in this game. So now both starting safeties not on the field for the Cardinal. First down inside the 15 for TCU. Down by 12 as we head towards 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. The 25th annual Alamo Bowl. Hill looking for some room. Hill firing back into the end zone. Touchdown TCU, Desmond White. White threw the last touchdown pass to Kenny Hill, and this time he catches one from Kenny Hill.
You can't cover this long. I mean, there's nothing you can do. They did a better job of keeping him in the pocket and making him be a passer, but he keeps his eyes downfield. And great scramble drill coming back across. He was, I mean, when you saw White, he was all the way on the right side of the field with Kenny Hill. He goes all the way across the field to the left side. Way too much time. Somebody's got to get a little more pressure.
TCU missed the last extra point. This one is true, so it's back to a 5-point game. The offenses have revved it up here in the second half. Kenny Hill's found his rhythm, and we've got a good one going in San Antonio.
Conference USA's already won 4 of their 9 teams getting victories. Some of the other conferences with more games to play coming up. On the return for Stanford.
The answer is often love. Look at that balance. Look at the balance for the Heisman runner-up.
Just put that hand on the ground, no big deal. Just push off
and with the bad ankle too.
Kind of limping off too. Watch him kind of protect himself right here, and then put the foot on the or hand on the ground and just climb 10 more yards. No big deal.
That's Traven Howard that he put on the deck with that stiff arm, and during Gary Patterson's tenure as the TCU coach, no one has more tackles than Traven Howard, and Bryce Love just put him on the seat of his britches. Got the first down. Love now up to 147 yards on the night. Cameron Scarlett in at running back. Bunch formation to the right, and Stanford will run it that way and hit in the backfield and stop before Ross Blacklock loses his headgear. He made the tackle.
I'll tell you what, Gaines made that play though. You watch number 6 get in there, and they've got penetration a lot of times, but you watch 6 get in there right away and just cause havoc on the outside. Turn the ball back inside to the big boys inside that have been eaten.
You see a lot of slanting out of defensive lines in the Big 12, and if they choose right, if they're slanting to the right way of the run, there's not much that the offensive line can do. And Blacklock wasn't getting stopped. It didn't matter who was in front of him. He was not getting stopped on that play.
Loss of 2. Costello getting heat, gets rid of that. Scarlett. A rare catch by a running back for Stanford. Scarlett ripping deep into TCU territory, and the Cardinal back in the red zone.
Plenty of time in bowl preparation to break tendencies. All season long, they didn't take advantage of the backside of the backfield. This is the second time we've seen tonight ISO a guy out of the backfield, and another big play. First time it was to Weddington.
First time, yeah.
This time they hit Scarlett.
Same exact route. They're finding that man-to-man linebacker standing flat-footed. You give him one move, he has to take it.
Well, Joe, go ahead.
That was very reminiscent of the play they ran with Christian McCaffrey in the opening of the game against Iowa in the Rose Bowl.
Went for a touchdown. Pickup of 50. 50-yard plays are the specialty of Stanford running backs, apparently. Back to Love.
Oh. If he scored it out of that one now, we were just going to have to tip the cap.
And Bozen able to wrap him up.
Great play by Bozen to get an ankle. I mean, seriously just caught an ankle, and we see Love limping again, and the limp is starting to get worse now, and that was an ankle tackle. Those
and that's
are
the
tough.
ones. That's the ones that get him.
All night long, though, he has looked better with the ball in his hands running it than he has when we see him after the play when he starts to limp.
During the time off, Bryce pretty much stayed off of it. David Shaw saying he was conditioning for the most part, and he saw him zip by him in a practice this week and thought he might have the old explosion back. Here's the toss to Scarlett. Scarlett, a good running back in his own right, and he gets down close to the 10-yard line as we take a look back at the last stop of Love on that.
And those are the ones when you get that ankle pulled in tight, he could feel it right away, and you see him getting upset about it. It's a huge opportunity for TCU's defense, by the way. They've struggled in the red zone all night, been great all year. Got to find a way right here to get some pressure.
The touchdown percentage allowed coming into the game tonight was second best in the country, but Stanford has been very proficient in their red zone trips.
Jump ball time.
Who's it going to be?
It looks like a man-to-man outside. I'm just going to throw the jump ball and let our receiver.
Throws it to the back of the end zone. He was looking for his roommate, was Costello, and unable to make the grab is Caden Smith.
Top of the screen. Oh my goodness. Like, I know you like your roommate, but look up top. Corner blitz. Nobody over the top. No help whatsoever. didn't see it at all.
Yeah, Costello threw it to the only place where there were 2 defenders. They had man-to-man on the left side and a blitz on the right side, and went to the only place where there was 2 defenders.
Only his 7th start. I'm betting he sees that next year and tosses that for the easy touchdown.
I bet he sees it on the sideline when they show him a picture of that one.
Imagine. So Jet Toner is going to try to pay off the long pass to Cameron Scarlett with 3 points, and he does. So Stanford gets 3, but they should have had 6. As David knows from being around me for years, I'm a big proponent of just kick the extra point until you get to the 4th quarter. So we're just about at that time where if TCU can answer with a touchdown, that
and I completely agree with that. Completely agree with that.
Patterson will likely have to make that decision. Another booming kickoff. Turpin will take a knee. The 3rd quarter comes to a close for Stanford, hoping it can land a devastating blow early in the 4th quarter. Stanford with a 31-23 lead. Love has a touchdown. Hill's fighting back. 4th quarter's coming. Stanford on top of TCU by 8. He's Davis, David Pollock, Joey Galloway, and Quinn Keston. Glad to have you with us from the Valero Alamo Bowl. Hill, just in front of his end zone, has a man out there. It is Rager, and he's off to the races. Nobody will catch him. For the freshman.
Backed up out of your own end zone. That's what you like to do, take shots. And Rager smoked Murphy. He was 4 or 5 yards behind an easy throw. How about the throw by Kenny Hill? Reese chasing points, you happy about this?
It's very early, but I would go ahead and do it now. The problem becomes if you don't make it here and Stanford scores a touchdown against a 2-possession game.
Yep.
Go either way here.
I'd kick it.
The conservative play is to kick it.
Because then you see Stanford go down and kick a field goal, and
field goal won't make that much of a difference. The touchdown's going to be the problem. That would make it a 2-possession game. But they've made their decision.
68.
Hill, throwback, has a man, and he absolutely dropped it. That was Garrett Altman, a guard, who lines up at tight end. So they had a 2-point play, and another wrinkle, trickeration, goes against Gary Patterson.
And it wasn't an easy play. It's in his hands. When you're asking the big fella to run out here and make a fairly nice catch. And these plays, you used to see a quarterback lob it up and the guy standing there and he can just easily catch it. That's an athletic play needed to be made right there.
TCU down 2 after the 93-yard touchdown catch from Jalen Rager.
And this is just a simple go route. This is, we think we're faster than you are. This is Rager is a terrific athlete. Look at the speed. Murphy can't flip the hips. You cannot let an athlete like Rager run up on you and get even and then decide to flip your hips. Not even close.
What did Gary Patterson say at the half?
We're faster than they are.
Well, he was right about that guy.
He's faster than a lot of them.
Those strides, he were eating it up. How about this 3rd quarter?
Now early in the
4th, we got 4 scores already.
2-point game is Cameron Scarlett. Scarlett pushes up across the 30-yard line, and it'll be good field position for the Cardinal. 69-yard touchdown run in the 2nd half. Here's Love. Terrific tackle.
That's a heck of a play.
Ennis Gaines, who's starting tonight for the injured Ridwan Izahaku.
He was gone, Reese. I mean, he had a crack. That's a heck of a play. See Ennis all the way to the left side of your screen. If he doesn't make this play, look at that. That's house call. Great job keeping the blocker off and then keeping outside leverage, understanding that ball's got to go inside. Nice play.
Costello has a lot of responsibility at the line of scrimmage. Stanford will call 3 plays at time and count on the quarterback to get them in the right one. A lot of Horned Frogs back there to greet Love, and they stop him for maybe half yard. Ball came out again. Let's see if he was down before. I think Stanford jumped on it anyway. That was A.T. Hall, the right tackle, getting back there. And they did say the ball came out. Let's have a look at it. There were a lot of frogs around, and Bryce got knocked around.
He's still on top of the body. Still,
yeah.
They haven't blown the whistle. They should have blown the whistle by now. You know, you saw this a lot late in the season with him. Him being banged up, protecting his ankle. He had a lot of fumbles against USC in the championship game, and didn't lose them all, but put the ball on the turf a lot. Great job by Gaines stripping that. That should have been 4.
That one should have been blown dead. That's a mistake by the officiating crew. He stopped and cost Stanford a lot of yards. 3rd down and 18. Pressure on Costello. Costello is knocked down. He gets up and run. That was L.J. Collier back there applying the heat, and Costello's had a lot of pressure from the Horned Frogs.
And Vanderbilt came off the corner first. He came around that edge, and he made Costello step up in the pocket. And that is textbook how you rush a passer. You keep him in the pocket, you bring your ends around the corner, make him step up into the hands of everyone else. Yeah.
Costello was easily down.
Completely down, knee, side, elbow, and shoulder down.
You know what's
Not
great
sure
about
what that was.
Obviously, Collier's going to get the sack, but Vanderbilt did an unbelievable job, like you said. It's the first sack of the day, by the way.
Maybe after that last play. Wow. Costello, I told you guys, he'll flip that field. Here's White. Did he outkick his coverage? Here's White down the sidelines. White on the way. Another big play for TCU, and the Frogs have the lead. A 60-yard punt from Bailey. A 76-yard return from Desmond White, the senior from DeSoto, Texas.
And Reese, you can have a big punter if you want, and this is what I was trying to tell you. The distance that the punt returner has when he gets the ball in his hands is too great for your return team. And now there's a lot of room for an athletic guy to make some guys miss. And that's why White catches this ball and turns it up, and now all of a sudden he's out in space. Good punt returners love a punter with a big leg.
How about that high step at the end? That could have been called for a flag as well.
Easy.
I'm glad they did.
I'm just saying, they do call it.
Come on.
36-31.
That's what the coach is telling him right now, by the way.
Make sure you get into the end zone. The Frogs have their first lead of the game. High stepping into it. Got away with it. Got away with it. Come on. See the Alamo, one of the great tourist attractions. The Alamo Dome, not a bad attraction tonight either. TCU and Stanford Horned Frogs have the lead for the first time tonight. TCU has scored on its last 2 touches. A 76-yard punt return by Desmond White, the most recent one. Prior to that, a 93-yard touchdown pass from Kenny Hill to Jalen Rager. And Gary Patterson, who was last in this bowl 2 years ago and overcame a 31-0 deficit, was down 21-3 in this game. Thought the Frogs were going to sweat it out, and Gary's still sweating profusely. But he has a 5-point lead in the first lead of the night for Purple. Short kickoff. That's Maddox. Anthony Tejada giving him some space at the bottom of the screen. Whiteside is there. Tejada in the open field, and Whiteside Arcega beats him, and Tejada gets him by the shoestring, or that might have been an even bigger game.
Exactly what I said, Reese. Run the 5-yard route, just run it inside, and then see if he can turn it into a big play.
But you're right, though, because it's man coverage on the outside. You got 6'6", or 6'3" versus 5'10". That's a winnable matchup. I mean, it's not a great throw, by the way. He does a great job of reaching out and going back outside and making big plays, but you're right. It's a huge 5 inches difference out there. Make some plays with it.
Up 21 on 3rd and 8. Love and Scarlett in the backfield with Costello. Wheel, Scarlett's out there, and there's the running back again for the second time tonight. Cameron Scarlett. Finally wrestled down, maybe, eventually. Inside the 20-yard line is Scarlett, who only had 4 catches all season, has 2 now tonight.
And just like we called it, the running backs are gonna be all over the place. I'm not being facetious. They don't throw the ball to the running backs very often. How about this? Fake it to Love, run the wheel route. You see there's some confusion at the linebacker spot.
That's because they're not used to covering the backs out the backfield.
No.
If they've watched film of Stanford, they're like, their backs aren't coming out to catch the ball, so why cover them? And if you're Stanford, great adjustment.
And Evans,
throw it to him.
Evans, you could see 7. He didn't know what was going on.
Running backs only had 14 catches coming into the night. TCU adjusts late. They had an uncovered receiver.
Same guy that was uncovered last time. See if you can find Parkinson up top. He's a huge target.
Here's the toss to Love. He is wrapped up and treated rudely by Ross Blacklock, redshirt freshman. Stanford is in the red zone where they are 4 for 4 with 3 touchdowns tonight. That's 75% in touchdowns against a TCU team that was 2nd in the country in red zone defense and touchdowns allowed. Allowing TDs only 37% of the time, and the Frogs hoping to force a field goal attempt this time. Cardinal with other ideas behind Bryce Love. Love gets inside the 15 before he's stood up and knocked down. 3rd down coming.
This will be interesting. Start. There's Love coming off the field. Looks like his shoulder this time or something. Oh, dragging his left arm. This will be interesting here because it could be 4-down territory, so you can still run the football, but now no Bryce Love makes a big difference.
What would you do here, Joey?
I've been waiting on these shots to the outside. Now on 3rd down, TCU has their safeties back. Both safeties back in this situation, so it's going to be tougher. But I've been waiting on the size disadvantage from Stanford's favor to throw the ball. In this situation, I might run it.
They are going to throw it underneath. Got his man, the freshman Weddington again, and it's a 1st down.
And Weddington, when they put him in the game, he's made big plays. You saw him in the backfield. Now you see him at wide receiver. He is a playmaker. You've seen him. He's got really good speed. They use him, do a good job, use the tight ends as a decoy. Slot receiver does a great job, understands it's man, kind of picks him naturally. Now you're inside the 5, where you were at in the Pac-12 championship game in the 4th quarter when you needed to be able to pound the ball straight ahead, and you couldn't do it. So let's see if Stanford can do it this time.
You got those big fellas up in front of Cameron Scarlett. Nick Wilson, 54 in the backfield, along with the natural fullback Daniel Marks. Scarlett. Nope.
I don't like going that big from the 4-yard line. You're trying to. That is a 1-yard grouping. You know what I mean? You need some inches. You need 1 yard. You bring in all these big guys, and you get that 1 yard. You're trying to do it from the 4-yard line. It's not a play where you're going to break it and get big yards out of it. I don't like that on 1st down. If they get down to a 4th and 1, it makes sense. 1st and 4, I don't like it.
Well, now they changed personnel, so a little more speed on the field. Get a few more guys out of the box. Now you got Parkinson out
By the
wide.
way, Parkinson down low is 6'7".
Yes.
This guy is 6'7" down low.
Tejada's 5'10". He's got help though on the inside. You see
Small is 5'10" too.
Costello throwing it up. Incomplete. 3rd down coming. Tejada and Nico Small.
That was awesome. Smart defense. Great job. You saw Parkinson posted up, but you saw Small take away the inside.
What a bad throw. I mean, quite honestly,
Yep.
still 6'7". Let him go down there and throw it up. I don't care if you got 2 guys down there that are 5'10". Give him a shot with the ball.
We saw Love leave the game a moment ago. He is inside at Stanford Medicine tent being checked on.
They put Smith in the slot though, which now gets a big body in the slot, takes away the double team out wide.
They throw it up. Arcega wide side, fights for the ball. Flag comes in, and he just beat Anthony Tejada for the touchdown. His 3rd touchdown catch of the night.
There's the throw. There's the throw that Costello wanted to make on the earlier down. Let Whiteside get there and post up. Let him get set. This isn't a timing route. Let him get set.
But Tejada grabbed him, held him, interfered with him, still couldn't stop him.
Take his shirt off, it doesn't matter. And you've seen him do that all year long. That's nothing new. Strong hands, Just a big body. Now Stanford goes for 2.
I have to try to make it a field goal game, so
now you should.
It's funny, the missed extra point by TCU and then the missed 2-point conversion eventually forces Stanford now to go for the 2-point play. Why wouldn't you go right back to the size on the outside?
First of all, I love what they did. David Shaw was a great job putting Smith, the tight end, in the slot, so now you can't double team Arcega-Whiteside outside. Does it again. So now you can't double team the big fella. So now look for Caden Smith, 82, in the slot because they got Smalls out wide.
Right back at it. And that time they were looking for Smith, and it was a little too tall, and it's a 1-point lead for the Cardinal. Back and forth. Back and forth. Stanford with the answer. Costello. Arcega-Whiteside. Stanford back on top. That glove might be a collector's item. It belongs to Bryce Love. The blood on it his from the right thumb that he injured, but his team able to get the go-ahead touchdown without him as he remains inside the medical tent being attended to for that laceration and
you know what this
bloody
means, right?
hand.
There'll never be any tents on the sidelines with holes in them on the side. Now everybody will make sure it's completely enclosed and you can't see anything. That kid's been tough, hasn't he? Look at that, swollen. Look, he's still leaking blood.
Still looks like it's still dripping off there. 37-36. Stanford once had a 21-3 lead in this game. TCU looked lethargic, mistake-ridden. Frogs got back in it, but Stanford has shown toughness as well. 76-yard touchdown drive to let them regain the lead. And the difference at the moment is after a couple of missed conversion attempts.
You don't want to be in a second half fight with TCU, do you, at the Alamo Bowl?
Not here. Oregon 2 years ago squandered a 31-0 lead at halftime to lose in triple overtime to TCU. Frogs hoping for more heroics. Underneath and complete, and there in space goes Jalen Rager. Rager had the big touchdown catch of 93 yards earlier. Now well over 100 yards receiving on the night.
Stanford at some point is going to have to decide if they want to keep giving that up or play some man coverage because underneath stuff has killed them.
There's Desmond White. White scored every which way tonight, with the exception of a run. He's thrown a touchdown pass, returned a punt for a touchdown, and caught a touchdown pass from Kenny Hill.
And they haven't touched Kenny Hill in a long time. Kenny Hill has had a chance to stand in the pocket, deliver balls downfield. The offensive line has been outstanding after the first quarter. Once they started to run the ball, it gives them a chance to give different looks to the defensive line. Sometimes they tee off, sometimes they pass block. D-line doesn't know what's coming, and the offensive line has played so much better once they got on the roll.
Frogs have 2 tight ends in the game. Hill, Alanalua, Shewo into Stanford territory down to the 45. He'll need about 4 more for the first down. Second down coming.
All these backs need to hold on to the football.
A little loose with that one.
Hold on to the football. This is the only thing stopping you really has been turnovers. The Stanford defense doesn't have answers. You just can't make those mistakes. Kenny Hill doing a good job being patient. Back needs 2 hands on the football when they're running the ball.
To me, you wonder about teams that go fast-paced on offense. When they get to the end of games, when they want to start taking time off the clock, does it mess with their rhythm?
Kenny Hill has completed his last 8. To the ground now. Alanalua, first down and more, and running through defenders and taking the worst of that one was Frank Buncombe. Frank has 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery tonight, but boy, he took a shot from the big running back from TCU.
Look at this O-line work. I mean, this is man-to-man blocking. You don't see double teams, and then you see delivering the blow at the end of this play.
Stanford earlier this season lost cornerback Elijah Holder. They've had some attrition.
Justin Reed tonight.
Secondary, yeah, I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Back to the ground, Alanalua
Scores through inside the 25 and another first down for TCU, and it looks like Stanford's starting to get worn down a little bit on defense.
They got nothing for him. They got no answers. Kenny Hill's been throwing the ball. Now they're lining up and powering the football. But, yeah, they don't rotate a ton of bodies. They don't have that kind of depth. Playing a lot of snaps. That's almost 500 yards of offense to 360 for Stanford. So that offense has been cooking.
There's a blitz. There finally Stanford brings a blitz. Kenny Hill too confident in the pocket, too comfortable. They run the ball. The offensive line playing nicely. Finally Stanford sends a blitz. We got to shake things up.
Hill did well to get rid of it. Didn't take the sack or turn it over, which TCU has done 3 times tonight. Snaps Hill's streak of 8 straight completions, but Frogs just inches away from the red zone in field goal range, which would give them the lead. It's just over 4.5 minutes to play here in San Antonio. Back to the ground. This time it's Hicks. Hicks down to the 15.
No hurry. Chewing a little bit of clock.
This is the big 3rd down right here because you'd like to be able to go and score the touchdown. Obviously, a field goal leaves you vulnerable to the Cardinal answering with a field goal in the waning moments.
They see pressure.
Look at the body language on Harrison Phillips inside. He is gassed right now. He is dead tired.
Hill to Hicks. Can Hicks get there? No, he cannot. 4th down coming, and a terrific stop by the Stanford defense. Mike Tyler from his outside linebacker position filling in for Joey Alfieri, who was injured and has not played tonight. Tyler made a big stop with some help from Jordan Perez.
It was a great job. You saw Stanford saw, or TCU saw the blitz. They checked the screen they wanted to, but great pursuit from the inside out. That's what you want for Stanford. TCU, this is what you want, right? You got a shot to take the lead now and put your defense on the field. It's played pretty well.
Cole Bunce will try to give TCU the lead from 33 yards out. He's made one from 38 tonight. Bunce on the way. Frogs back on top by a deuce. Now, isn't this what it should come down to? 3:07 to go. The head coach of Stanford runs the offense. The head coach of TCU runs their defense. And we'll see if they can get a stop after the 3rd lead change in the 4th quarter. One of those Big Ten SEC matchups in Nashville. And now here comes Cameron Scarlett. Scarlett will be stopped about the 25-yard line. How much fun's this been, huh?
It's awesome. Better get snapped.
Again, throwing inside to Irwin and breaking on the ball nicely is Tejada. Stanford sideline wanted a flag on Tejada, but he got there and knocked it away from Irwin. Quint, what do you have for us?
Bryce Love is still in the tent. He's back up on his feet. It looks like they've stitched up his right thumb, but he's unavailable right now. Could be any second, but unavailable right now.
Well, he's
out of the tent.
Just emerged from the tent. Quint has his helmet in his hand and headed up, I would imagine, to ask his way into this game. Costello throwing to Irwin. Tejada there to make the stop after a short gain. 3rd down and 10 coming. Clock running. Inside 2:45 to play.
And the biggest thing is protecting Costello. They're not doing it consistently. Watch TCU, they've been stunting their front line up front and bringing somebody off the edge every single time.
Costello throwing it in the middle, and it's intercepted if he held it. And it's Gaines.
Getting a 3rd and long in a situation where you have to pass the ball against a Gary Patterson defense. That is playing right in his hand. A man under situation. You have to go over top of the front guy, but the safety is behind to give help. So there's always going to be a defender playing back. He's underneath. It's going to be a tough throw.
How many times have you seen this ball this season if you've watched Stanford and their receivers go and make a great play for him and bail Costello out. That time, Gaines had none of it. Great coverage. Way to play the football. Not let the big tight end come back and make a play for his quarterback.
In a man-under situation, you got a better chance with an out-breaking route. The guy's underneath. He's going to lay back. If you break out, you got a chance at getting open.
Pretty good time for Gaines' first pick of the season. Now on the ground with Hicks. His TCU is to hang on to the football. Trying to run this out, and once again, for the second time in 3 years in their only 2 trips to the Annual Alamo Bowl, rally from a big deficit and come out with a victory against a Pac-12 team. Gary Patterson undefeated against the Pac-12, 5-0 all time, 2-0 against Stanford. He's been the most productive interior defensive lineman in the country and just one of the most productive defensive linemen, period. Likely his last game in Stanford. Alana Lua, who's really played well tonight. This is a guy who has been challenged by Patterson to fulfill his vast physical potential, and he played well against Baylor, and he has played well tonight as Patterson is celebrating as that first down ought to do it for the Frogs.
And how about TCU in a 2 tight end set, pounding Stanford to end the game?
Kenny Hill takes the knee, and TCU's going to run out the last minute 40. Tune in to ESPN3 for the post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One that is immediately following the game. That trophy is going to be handed to that man, barring some type of unforeseen meltdown by the Horned Frogs in final minute 20.
And Reese, part of that decision for Love, can he get healthy before, if he decides to come out and he has to work out for scouts and NFL teams and the combine coming up, how healthy can he get to put on a good show for the NFL scouts?
Tell you what, he's shown toughness. I know that.
Tonight's Capital One player of the game is the TCU senior quarterback who wanted to finish it in style, and Kenny Hill has. He's accounted for 4 touchdowns, a couple through the air.
Almost 400 yards.
Ran for a touchdown.
Can we give the O-line something? You got anything else in your pocket for the O-line?
Reese does, yes. Reese has plenty in his pocket for the O-line.
The O-line has been outstanding.
The graduated guys, Reese, you can go take care of.
Something, Reese?
How about for how he started, though? Because he started the game
very poorly.
Really poorly, throwing across his body, making a couple really bad decisions, but stayed the course. They started running him, and then you saw everything else came to life.
I'll tell you, I think Desmond White deserves a little bit of that, too. Gary didn't change shirts at halftime. He stayed the course, and he gets that purple shirt doused, and it might be a little chilly at the moment, but it feels good. 2 coaches who have established not just good teams, but terrific programs. Embrace the final ticks going off the clock here in San Antonio as TCU wasn't a 31-point deficit this time, but a 18-point deficit. They overcome. They win at 39-37. Quint Kesnick down on the field.
Coach, congratulations. What was going through your mind down 21-3?
Well, we just keep playing. Nothing went our way. And so for us, it was just about keep playing. That's what I told them at half. I told them at half, nothing's gone your way, and it's 21-10, so keep playing.
Were you tempted to change your shirt, Coach?
Yes.
What made the difference in the second half?
Well, number 1, we moved the ball and we scored. 2, defense, we got some stops.
Your seniors, how do you best describe their careers? 40 wins.
40 wins. This is 160, 40 wins, and really unbelievable, just an unbelievable group. They've overcome a lot of things. So.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations. Another Alamo comeback, Reese.
And Quint, Gary's going to get to rest that voice, get the singing voice in shape during the offseason. And Bryce Love, biology major, perhaps an aspiring doctor, opportunity to the NFL perhaps awaits. Was this his last game? 39-37 TCU went to Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt coming up next. Be sure to tune into the post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One. Coming up next on ESPN3 for our entire crew. I'm Reese Davis. Good night from San Antonio.